I really just want to try to do something fun. And if the meta deck is fun, then I'll play that. But it's more often than not, I want to do something just a little bit different.
Welcome to episode 507 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 in the evening. Coming to you from Nomergan, Ohio, it's me, Edelweiss. From North Rand, Massachusetts, we have Wicked Good.
Hi.
From Teldrassil, California, we have Megasa.
Hello.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Crash, Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottlecaps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, SSJ5 Goku, NY Kiwi, and Spine. And by our patrons of the week, Ezra Carpenter and Will-O-Wisp. You can go to patreon.com/CoinConcede to get perks like a thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, one-on-one coaching sessions, and help support the show in the process. If you'd like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice, as it always helps other people find the show. So, Life and Ladder. I think there is minimal ladder happening. I don't know about y'all. Did a little bit of like playing around with Hunter in prep for this episode. You'll see why. But yeah, not loving it. I don't know. Protoss is cool. Dorian.
That was a great couple days.
Dorian less so. It was a good couple days when people were still when we had hope, and then the hope began to fade, and we stopped playing quests again. So it's not great. Don't want to dwell. You know, we talked about it last week. We had hope then too, because the balance changes were coming and they hadn't hit yet.
Yeah, it's hard out there for a quest. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Look, I genuinely admire what they were trying to do in terms of like not making them just like "and I win now" sort of things. And honestly, even looking back at some things, I don't know how much it was about the quests being so amazing, although some of them were, versus like the support cards were really good. But in this case, it's like neither. So, yeah, they just can't keep up. We're being destroyed by boom wrenches. That's where we're at. So
yeah,
boom wrenches, handbuff, a lot of like scam fast decks. But
yeah,
we will talk about not only Handbuff Hunter, although that will be in there. I've been also playing various hunters for today, as well as like you two playing Protoss Priest in the first few days, which is a fun deck. Then my coachee said I'd like to learn Rogue, and I was like, uh-oh, you have the wrong host.
Hello. What's up, Sid?
And speaking of Hunter, we have a special guest with us this week.
Hello.
Welcome, Sidisi. You're just shy of the introduction that I didn't think to ask. Do you have a region that we used for you last time? A Warcraft region?
I don't know enough Warcraft lore to advise on that.
Is there some sort of a forest the hunters hang out in? There's got to be, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Leorox is something.
There's that woods where they kill boars all day in the South Park episode. I don't know.
What's that called?
Eversong? You want Eversong?
Elwyn Forest.
That's a play.
Maybe.
Elwyn Forest. There we go.
I'll go with that.
Okay, there you go.
Or we could also do Ungoro
Sure.
Crater, which is where we are now, where the dinosaurs are.
Good to see you all.
Yeah, good to have you.
We're happy to have you here. Yeah.
We were just going through our life and ladder and our lamentations of the hoping the patch had gone better. But Hunter's actually landed in an okay place, at least performance-wise.
It's true. We have some options.
Which is your favorite of the options?
Well, right now I'm trying to make Quest Hunter work. It seems better after the patch and the buff to shock. So we can do some splashy, powerful things if we can manage to complete the quest before dying. So that's exciting. And it's new.
That's quite the caveat, though.
Yeah. I've been beating up on people at Diamond 5 with it, but I can't tell if I can make it to Legend or not yet. So still tinkering.
Yeah.
It's a little late in the month to be tinkering, but trying.
It's fine.
You got a
The
week,
other
it's fine.
decks run a couple new cards, but they feel very samey to last expansion, so I haven't been playing as much of the other decks. But that's my brief life in ladder. Sorry to jump in the middle.
No, you're good.
No.
As I said, sort of ladder stuff I was doing. My life stuff is that my copy of Daggerheart arrived, so I've been poring over that and all the beautiful cards. And if anyone has opened Netflix recently, you've probably seen advertised an animated film called K-pop Demon Hunters, which is delightful. And yeah, if you know like the League of Legends K-pop band KDA, I feel like someone saw that and was like, "What if we just made a movie that was that?"
I saw that trailer and I immediately thought that I needed to ask you about it, Edel.
It's very fun.
Somehow this just screamed Edelweiss to me.
You know, I go in and out of K-pop, but
when
it's
you
a lot of
combine it
fun.
with Demon Hunters,
it's great. It's great. They're singing to save the world. Yeah.
Sure.
So it's a lot of fun. Definitely check that out. Lots and lots of K-pop music that is quite solid. I think they actually got, the legit folks to do the voice acting. That's been what I've been up to. But Wicked, you've been playing some Arena, I hear.
Yeah, well, I played Protoss Priest and got to Legend. And then below Legend, I didn't see a lot of the Dorians and the Warriors. And as soon as I got to Legend, that was all I saw. And I'm like, I had a lot of standard sessions that lasted one game. It's like, I did that. I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. So, but I think maybe it was Cantaloupe that was, I don't remember if it was like in a Discord or it was on Twitter or whatever, that he said basically like, well, if you're playing all the modes, then you don't get as frustrated when one of them is not what you want it to be. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I haven't really spent a lot of time with Arena. I've got a lot of extra gold. Like, let me try doing that. I've been playing a fair number of Arena runs the last few days. I've actually really been enjoying it. I've not been doing particularly well, but that's okay. I mean, there's still a lot of big swings, and it feels a little closer to standard, but it feels like standard if there was actually a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did have a couple games where I stabilized at like 2 life and then ended up winning the game, just coming down from like 2 life down to 30 and then just stabilized and got enough armor and life steal to get myself back up. And I've actually, if you want to play quests, you can get them done in Arena and you get them offered to you not infrequently.
Yeah.
And you actually do get the time to complete them. I was playing, I was just did a 4-win run with the Death Knight quest. There's a lot of silence in Arena.
Is there really?
Yeah. Because I don't think there was one game. I finished the quest fairly often. And I think there was one game where Tyrax died and turned into a location because there was just silence, or, well, somebody had Bob and got themselves a copy of it, or, just all kinds of things or I think one of them got shuffled into my deck at one point. I don't remember what happened, but it's just like the death rattles did not go off, but it's fine. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I did really enjoy the Arena runs that I've been playing, and I've been spending a lot more time there just because like they need to do so. I don't even know what they do about standard, but I'm not loving it right now. But Arena's really fun, and you get to play with all the cards in a format where you actually can use them. So I'm really enjoying that. And yeah, I did play Protoss Priest the first couple days, and then it wasn't viable anymore after that with what I was seeing, because everything was just kind of like, Protoss Priest needs a little bit of time to get going. Like, it's very powerful when it does, but it needs a few turns, and Dorian doesn't give you a few turns, and neither does Tortola hitting you for 25 or whatever it happens to be. So
I'm still having some luck with Protoss because I think I play it really aggro, and then if I don't win aggro, then I also play some motherships. But it definitely was less effective later on than it was early. I'm hoping I can get some more hunter tips to really get that going. And then on my coaching for Rogue, we won once, so it could have been worse.
Okay. That's one more win than I would have gotten. So, that's fine.
Not that I'm like, the most amazing at these, but probably Rogue should come my way.
Yeah, I think I will let him know that there is another host who is more skilled at Cycle Rogue. Cycle Rogue is also really hard to do a coaching on because
It is.
I'll be like, all right, we're gonna go in next turn, so we're just gonna be like, play this card, play this card, play this card, play this card.
Better
And
with this one, but yeah, still tough.
Yeah.
There are worse rogues for that. I'm sitting there mostly thinking, what do my opponents do? Because I see it all the time played against me.
What do people do to me that I hate? Can I do that to them?
Can I do that to them? Oh yeah, we can like play like Mauler, Step, Mauler, Web of Deception on one.
Just shadow step stuff until they concede. That's what you have to do. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did over the weekend though. I did have quite the session at the big comic book store in the city because they were doing not for me, by the way. This is for one of the twins because I don't need more physical comics in my house for me because like I Lord knows I've got enough stuff in the basement that I already need to get rid of. But they were doing a sale where they were basically clearing out all their excess bulk. So they were doing like all their back issues in this room for $1. And if you bought 100 issues or more, they'd sell them to you for 50 cents. And if you filled up a long box, they'd sell you the long box for $35. And so my daughter said, challenge accepted. And so my older daughter and I went up to the other room where they have all the magic cards, and we were going through bulk looking for she's trying to build a pirate deck, so we were trying to find pirates and vehicles to put in it. Mary Reed and Anne Bonny, so lesbian pirates, So we spent what we thought was a fairly excessive amount of time looking through the singles, and then we went to go check on my other daughter, and she's like, I've got half of it filled. Like, okay. We've already checked out, so I guess we're going across the street to the juice place, and we're gonna go get juices, and we're gonna come back and see if you're done. We actually ran into they had this one poor guy who was like helping people out to their cars, and he was just like because it was parked up like fair amount away, and he's like, my back is killing me. I said, I feel for you, man. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, we'll carry our own stuff out, so you don't have to worry about us. At least there was like a line. We got there like 15 minutes before it opened. There was a line like leading out the door, and then the room was so small that they could only let like 20 people in at once. So like there was a line the whole time, like back out the door. And every time I went to go check on my daughter, I had to assure people, I am not cutting the line. I'm just checking on my kid who's going through the comics. Please don't kill me. But she's very excited. She found a Mallrat. We just watched Mallrats the other day, so she found a Mallrats ad on the back of one of the issues that she had with like a magic eye picture on it from the 90s. So she's like, look, it's from Mallrats. Like, yep, it sure is. It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat. So we had a good time there, and she's still working through, and then we had to buy her supplies and everything else. So of course it's more than the $35, but comics always are. So, but I think unless anyone else has anything for the good of the order, we can get into some quick news, and then we can talk to Sid about Hunter, which is what we're all here for. So
yes.
So let us breeze through the news.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
So there's not much this week. There's a couple of things. One is good. One is. So there was announced a collab with Diablo Immortal at the beginning of this week. It is entirely a Diablo Immortal event that will be bringing Hearthstone into it. There is a small amount of crossover, but not most of the work is in Diablo Immortal. So they're gonna, if you play Diablo Immortal, they're going to have, I played like the first season of Diablo Immortal and then hit the monetization and noped out. So I don't, and even then there were like more types of currencies than there were like people playing the game. So I don't, that's just their thing. They just introduce more things that you can collect. So they're bringing in cards from Hearthstone into the game that you can use to like enhance your character. It looks like this was built in like 2019 because there's only 9 classes in it. They don't have Demon Hunter or Death Knight, and like all the cards are from basically Classic. Like Polymorph, Ice Block, Bash I guess was from like TGT maybe, but Explosive Trap, Snake Trap, Holy Nova, Shadow Form, classic cards that probably nobody who's playing the game right now has seen in 5 years. But okay, so like Polymorph gives you a chance to transform nearby enemies into yaks. Why they're not sheep, I don't know.
There's
and
no
then
sheep in
Polymorph.
Diablo. What? Come on.
You can put sheep in Diablo. Listen, they had Whimsyshire in Diablo 3. And that had sheep in it. You can get sheep in Diablo. You can defile, you can have a chance to mark nearby enemies. Marked enemies are damaged. If they die while marked, they spread defile to unmarked nearby enemies. If you like Diablo Immortal, it's probably pretty cool. There's login rewards. There's a Mana Flux legendary gem. I don't know. They're going to have events. They're going to have all kinds of stuff. We're not a Diablo Immortal podcast, if such a thing actually exists. I don't know. But there will be skins for Malfurion and for Tyrande, and apparently it's like one skin that you get, but if you change the gender of your character, it switches from Malfurion to Tyrande. So I guess it's the first time they've done that, which is pretty cool. And I think there's like a card back that you can earn in Hearthstone by playing the game. It's probably not worth it, to be honest.
I don't know how you earn it, but yes, there is a card back in Hearthstone that is Diablo Immortal. Previously, we had the Diablo card back that has like the health and the mana pool thing that was for some kind of I feel like it was a Tavern Brawl event, right? Yeah,
it was a Tavern Brawl. It was an event in Hearthstone. You didn't have to play Diablo to do it. And by the way, I like Diablo games. Diablo Immortal is an outlier. I've got 200 hours in Diablo 4. I like Diablo, just not Diablo Immortal. So just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
But
you said one good and one is. I feel like they both just kind of are.
Well, of course, we can't have nice things this month. So, of course, when the Diablo Immortal team posted the graphic, it very much appears that it's AI generated. And there were I found out about this not from any Hearthstone news. I found out about it from Reddit because they were posting about the AI generated art before I even knew what was happening in the game. Like they were on it. Like Reddit is they don't waste any time. But it's a very weird image. Like everything's flipped. Like the Hearthstone swirls are backwards. The cards have the mana symbol in the wrong place. There's weird things going on with some of the features. Like this is purely on the Diablo Immortal side. This is not being run by Hearthstone. There's no corresponding crossover in Hearthstone. This is a Diablo Immortal thing. If you want to get upset about AI art in general and get upset with Blizzard, be my guest. Leave Team 5 out of this one. I'm willing to call them out when they do something bad. This is not on them. This is on the Diablo Immortal team. If you are inclined to be upset about such things, which is justified.
Yeah, to be clear, I think all of us hosts I know for sure, and Sidisi, I'm guessing you're also like not a fan of AI art.
Nah, not a fan.
If I had to guess, I feel like sort of the people's consensus is like down with AI, but as I understand it, Team 5 also is very insistent on no AI art. So that kind of leaves either this was Diablo Immortal folks who did it, or, and I don't know if this is more or less likely, but they outsourced it, right? They just like had a social media person do the thing, and the social media person, instead of because sometimes they contract out social media posts, instead of having an artist do it, just used AI, right? I think that happens sometimes where it's like it's not in-house that's doing it that decided to use AI. It's like whoever their contract people was that decided to use AI, and they didn't check it, right? They didn't notice. But the internet knows. The internet knew that CEO was cheating, like within like that. So yeah, the internet will always know and find out.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, like Microsoft's a multi-billion-dollar company. They can afford to pay a person to draw their things.
Yeah.
But, you know, anyway.
But also they're a big enough company that they're probably not even embarrassed.
No. They're also all in on AI, so, you know, whatever. Anyway, we don't need to go there, but that's a different podcast that I don't want to host. So, we do have some good news. There was an announcement today from HearthSim, who is the folks behind HSReplay, that they have released today, and there's a new update for Deck Tracker that includes a new functionality called Arenasmith, which is a arena drafting assistant that is designed for the new version of Arena. So it will give you, I mean, there's been like Hearth Arena and other helpers, other plugins in different trackers for a while. I think Firestone has some similar functionality. So it does things like it'll tell you what the hero win rates are. It'll give you card ratings that will adjust as you draft to tell you if things are better or worse based on what you've already drafted. There's some pretty cool features in it. I did a couple runs with it today to test it out. And we're also hoping to get someone from HearthSim to join us on the show to talk about this in more detail in a future episode. There's like a little hover over, like if there's like, let's say the example I was giving right before the show is like I was offered a harpoon gun. I actually am in the middle of a 3-0 hunter run, so you'll be very proud of me. I know it's
yes, I am very proud of you.
Yes. So
amazing.
So it's the best run I've had so far. I don't think I've gone 3-0 with anything else. So maybe I should just be drafting Hunter more in just Arena only. And you know, Constructed is a different story, but in Arena, you know. But anyway, so like it offered me a harpoon gun, and I would hover over it and it would highlight all the beasts that were in the deck. So that you know, okay, well, is this worth taking? I've got like 6 or 7 beasts and I've drafted 15 cards. Okay, this is something I should take, versus I hover over. There was something else I hovered over as like one thing. It's like, okay, let's forget about that. It'll show you all the related cards when you hover over things when there are some. It also shows you like there's a little number that tells you like how many there are. And then when you hover over it, it'll show you how many like related things there are. So it's a very, I don't think it's necessarily, well, except for that one run, like I did a couple other runs that didn't go so well. So I don't know how much of a better drafter it's making me, but there are definitely a lot of things that will save you a lot of time. And what I do like about those tools, not necessarily like taking their recommendations all the time, but sometimes it'll show you a really high rating on a card that you would have otherwise dismissed. And it makes you kind of stop and think about that. Like, oh, why would I want to draft this? Even if you end up not doing it, at least it makes you think a little bit more critically about your draft. So I do like those tools, and you don't necessarily have to use everything for it. But anyway, so that's it's going to show up when you go into an arena draft. If you have Deck Tracker installed, it'll give you 10 drafts for free and one free one per week, even if you are not paying for HSReplay. And then if you pay for HSReplay, then you just get it with your subscription. So it's a pretty cool feature that they're adding and they're not adding any additional cost to the subscription. It's just kind of coming with it.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. I'm really enjoying it, and like I said, I've been enjoying Arena a lot lately. So it's something that you know, maybe try out Arena, try out the tool, see if you like it.
So that was the good news. That was not written in the notes initially, and I was confused. Yeah. I was like, what's the good thing? Yeah, that is good news.
Yeah. Yeah, this was late breaking today, so I forgot to update the show notes. I was too busy trying it out ahead of the show. So
of note, while recognize that Firestone has had an arena thing for a while that is quote unquote free. It's the ads thing, right? Firestone is really demanding on your machine. Free is never free, right? It's ads, it's data. So if you already have HSReplay, I think this is a strict upgrade. Yeah,
I mean, the Firestone folks do good work also, for sure. But it's just they just happen to be built on top of Overwolf, and Overwolf
Overwolf is what Overwolf is.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't want to say anything negative about the Firestone folks, because like they do really good work also. Like both the tools are really good. It's just like you either are willing to put up with Overwolf or you aren't.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
Come on, have we not gotten the podcast sponsored yet by one or the other?
Kind of. HSReplay gave us some codes to use for our listener series. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the non-biased reporting, man. That's good.
Yeah. And I've used both, and for a while, for as long as I was able to tolerate Overwolf, I really loved the UI of Firestone, and it was really easy to stream with because it just like would go on. But yeah, Overwolf kind of
it's rough on your CPU.
It's rough on the computer and rough on my psyche. I just
yeah. Well, it's also like again, I work in data, right? What the hell are they siphoning off, and where is it going? Like, they're getting some data from you because that's how Overwolf knows what ads to serve you. So, I don't know what else they're getting. I'm not saying, again, Firestone guys aren't doing anything nefarious, but Overwolf that's their business model. So, anyway.
Well, and I'm just sitting here on Mac, so I have Deck Tracker, which
Yep.
I appreciate that it exists on Mac, even though it doesn't have quite all the same features. Just that I can play it on my Mac and it works well, and it has been greatly improved from what it used to be on the Mac, which I also appreciate. So,
yeah, and Arenasmith is not yet available on Mac, unfortunately. So, if you're on Mac, you're still drafting with stone tools. But
that's okay. We're used to it. Yeah.
Well, with that, let's get to the main event and start talking to Sid about Hunter. Even I'm willing to talk about Hunter because Sid is here.
Wow.
It is a special day. That just stopped.
It did just stop.
It did just stop.
I was like, was that just me?
That's what post-production is for. Hi, raw audio listeners.
Yeah, okay,
that's the Hunter version. Smork you down.
Yeah, it was taking too long, and the Hunter wants to get started, so I get it.
Thanks for having me.
We mentioned you on the show, but for those who don't know you, Sidisi, if you could tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why we are focusing on Hunter today.
And why do you insist on dusting priest legendaries?
Oh, wow. So much to react to. Well, I need the dust so I can craft all my Hunter cards golden, and I don't play priest. So it's just very, logical in that extent. I'm not sure why we're talking about Hunter today because, Hunter is kind of not the focus of the meta. I mean, we have kind of a good scam deck, but the meta is also kind of weird and unpopular. So maybe it's a good time to talk about Hunter because it's not the unpopular part. And I don't know what else I was supposed to react to. I forgot.
I threw too many questions at you. Yes.
Okay. So I've been making Hearthstone content for, I think, almost 7 years now. And I thought it'd be cool to do a niche. I kind of play as like a specialist. And I really like playing Hunter. I have 20,000 Hunter wins. I'm a bit of a fanatic. So, and I try to do kind of an off meta, intersect. So I like to play with a deck that could hit legend, but maybe has a bit of a fun rate to it and isn't the standard meta deck. So a little bit like Edel in that respect, I think. And I've got a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I like to post decks and interact with the community. And I stream a little bit. I'm like in the wicked good streaming mold of like once or twice a week if I'm lucky kind of thing, if the kids and the family allow and all that good stuff. So
the mold I used to be in, which is not necessarily the mold I'm in
special
now,
events wicked now, right?
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. It's kind of an interesting meta for Hunter right now. There's some kind of established decks that have changed a little bit, and we're trying to make the new thing work. But we're kind of all in on the quest working for the expansion to land. So,
well, we're so glad to have you, a longtime friend of the show, and I was thinking, well, Hunter has a meta deck, but also I think it would be fun to hear about other things. There's other things on the fringe for Hunter, and wanted to talk about off-meta deck building and gameplay as well. So we kind of have two parts here to this explanations. One is a little bit talking about the process of building off-meta decks, and the other half is just talking about what are some of the existing Hunter decks, meta and non-meta. And we'll probably return to some of this in later episodes because we don't have time to do a full explanation of 4 different decks. But we will cover what we can, and I tried to play a bunch of those decks in preparation, and I was not quite getting there, even when the win rates of the decks were pretty good. So I will benefit from some advice. But I suppose we can start with just building off meta decks. This is something that I don't have a lot of experience with. I know that Edel has a lot of experience with, but what's your sort of process for building an off meta deck? Like, where do you start when you want to build something new?
Sure. So I feel like this process has evolved a little bit, but back in the day, like I started playing in Old Gods, the cards and the packages weren't so cohesive. And I know you guys have been talking about this the last couple of weeks, but you kind of had like a random collection of cards, and you might have a few things that interacted with each other, but it was less focused on packages. So it was kind of more of a puzzle to see, what you could fit together, and there would be kind of a definite direction for each class, and maybe a deck or two that people would focus on and play, and those would be the meta decks. And it would be just kind of fun to figure out a way to use the other cards that weren't in the meta decks to do something cool. So that was kind of the initial goal, and just to kind of see what we could come up with. And now lately, like in the last year or two, I feel like it's morphed a little bit to, we're probably not going to win with the deck that has all these weird cards enough to make legend. So we're kind of maybe more taking a meta deck, and we're maybe swapping out a package in it, or changing it, how it functions a little bit. Like when Cube Hunter was big, I was running the mechanical dragons and Ziliacs, and that was kind of wild and wacky. But you can kind of tweak things a little bit to where it's kind of fun and exciting and a little different than maybe the thing people are getting bored of. So like last meta, when Handbuff Hunter was it was basically Handbuff Hunter and Discover Hunter, and Discover is not great into a lot of mid-range decks, which I see at 10x. So I was playing a lot of Handbuff Hunter because it was like the only thing I could win with. So for that, the off-meta deck was like, have the third minion be something else. So we'll run Brawl, or we're going to do Dissolving Ooze and hit with the Rune Bear and then eat it and put the bones on the other Rune Bear and lethal. So there wasn't a lot of room to tinker. But that's kind of a downside of being a specialist, right? If you're kind of all in on trying to make one thing work, you're kind of stuck if the cards aren't quite good enough. So, but yeah, got a lot of games in with Handbuff Hunter. I'm a big Starship fan as well. I like Starship a lot when it came out, but I don't know, I feel like it's more of like a Discover deck where you just stack a lot of biopods now, and Hunter can't really play Defense Crystal as well as some of the other classes, so it's kind of a different experience. So I haven't been playing that as much, but anyway, that's kind of my thought process on off meta. But I really just want to try to do something fun. And if the meta deck is fun, then I'll play that. But it's more often than not, I want to do something just a little bit different.
Yeah, I feel like the package this time around for Hunter is like maybe a bit less parasitic than for some of the other classes. But at the same time, when it comes to the quest, you have 2 7-attack beasts, sort of 3, right? Because there's the one that gets an attack at the end of every turn.
Yeah, I've never seen that one get to 7 attack without putting like cups of muscle on it or something.
Right. Yeah, so you kind of have to do some weird hand manipulation stuff to get 7s outside of Tyrannosaurus or the new 7
the Terror Ravager.
Yeah.
And that one's we're really all in on getting that one. Because like I had Tyrannosaurus in some of my theory crafting decks, and it's like maybe you can, if you're running detailed notes, maybe you can pull that, and it's only 5 mana, but it's rough at 7 mana to play that. But Terror Ravager is not that hard to find, and you can bird watching a 5-attack minion.
Oh, that's true.
And that helps you get your 7 pretty often. You can run Gilly and Cups of Muscle. My favorite deck of the expansion, which is a full meme, is Quest with the Amalgam and the Story of Carnassa. So you only complete, it's basically a Gilly deck, and I think I put Niri in there because doubling the Raptors is fun. But you basically just put all the Raptors in your deck, and you buff them all and use them to finish the quest. I have not tried it since the shock buff. I probably should get back to it, but the Raptors are very hard to win with. That's kind of why I haven't hit Legend. I've been playing too many Raptor decks, I think.
It's funny because, I mean, as long as you hit the spell, like playing that and just bird watching is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Bunch of 1 mana 5/3s that draw a card.
And against control, it's really like 2 or 3 boards for 2 mana in a longer game, which is great. But if you're like getting beaten in the face with Murlocs and you're like spending 2 mana to do nothing, it feels pretty terrible. So even if you spend like 5 on the bird watching and playing the first Raptor, it's like, all right, I spent 5 mana and I got a 5/3 and I'm dying. So I don't know. It's a little polarized in that way.
Yeah.
It's probably hard to get through a turn 5 Tortola or dealing with Agamemnon's or whatever the hell it's called, like hitting you in the face.
Well,
also.
So this is a thing that the Hunter Discord and I have been talking about. So like, it'd be great to have like Houndmaster Shaw or something, or some similar type effect with the Raptors.
Yeah.
We have Dreambound Raptor, and the 1 mana 2/1 lets you give a bonus effect to every minion you play. And we have the Painted Canvasaur, which gives bonus effects to everything you have in play. So like sometimes you're like, hey, I played these 5 beasts and I'm like, I'm ready to kill a Tortola now. One of them's going to get poisoned, and you put the Canvasaur down and they all get like Divine Shield or Rush or something. And you're like, oh crap, I can't do anything. So it's a bit of a hit or miss.
It's definitely the kind of thing where when your opponent has a Dreambound Raptor, they always get exactly what they need. They get Reborn on all their rushes or something, or poison
That's
on their
just
rush.
Science.
That's just science. But if you play a Dreambound Raptor, then it's like Divine Shield when it can't even attack.
I love it. Yeah, I always get the worst thing, I feel like, but that's probably just my bias, right?
Taunt on the thing you didn't want them to kill, like whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun part of the set to me, though, is like getting the Raptors and making them huge. Like if you do the Raptor and you bird watch it and then you play Niri, they're like 10/6s, and it's really hilarious. So I highly recommend that. But do not play it unless you're at like Dumpster Legend or at a rank floor or something.
What do you think the odds are that Niri one day gets nerfed? Because it does have Sonya vibes.
Probably. I mean, eventually, I guess we're going to get sick of the whatever deck copies spells with her. It's probably not going to be minions that get her nerfed. It's going to be like,
oh no, it's going to be
the Grifta amulets and rocks and arcane shots. And...
Yeah.
Yep. I've got that list down here.
It's a fun deck, but it's not performing. It's not like a meta breaker right now, thankfully.
Yeah.
I mean, it does like 30 or 40, but that's not enough right now.
Control does outlast it pretty well, I've noticed.
Yeah. I mean, like anything that's expecting to go long is going to have like, 100 armor, and then you're going to have to be able to get through that. And like, that's a lot of amulets.
Yeah, I played a game with it right before the show, and I didn't draw Mixologist, and they had every leech card in their deck, plus a Vampiric Blood. So at a certain point, I was like, yeah, I should just prep for the show. I'm like, never mind. I did have a game right before that where I had one game where I won. One game that was the DK leeches, and one game where I was like, all right, I'm all set. I can win next turn. I've got like 3 copies of everything. And then they Agamagoned me. And I'm like, come on. Just let me do my scam. Why you do your scam first? So, yeah.
So
you can kind of be a tempo player with that deck, and you can kind of keep the control player on their heels a little bit, and then you kill them from like 20 life. But that's kind of what you're going for. But if you have a slow draw and they're, tanking up, then. But it's a deck that you could tweak for the meta, right? Like if it's a really heavy control meta, maybe there's a way to up the damage output. You run some spell damage, or is Shield Breaker in core set, I forget. You could run some weird tech cards, maybe. I don't know.
No, Plate Breaker is not.
Plate Breaker, thank you.
Yeah.
We would see it.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I mean, that actually would probably make things a little bit more bearable if that was there. I mean, but you would be seeing that all the time. You would know if it was in core.
Get the game director.
You'd be seeing people playing it just as a minion because against you, right?
Yeah, you'd be seeing people playing it even when it was objectively incorrect, right?
Yeah.
Dirty
Like the
rat
way that
effect.
people used to play Eater of Secrets, right? When the secret mages were all over the place, people would just be playing Eater of Secrets, even though they really ought not to have been,
I
because it
mean-
wasn't going to do what they wanted it to do.
You lose to Starship Demon Hunter one time, and you put that in your deck.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
To me, though, sorry, Edel. To me, the Discover Hunter feels like maybe the highest skill cap hunter deck of all time.
oh, that sounds right. Yeah, I buy that. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just a really hard deck to play.
a lot of
I mean,
decisions.
there's a lot of decisions. Yeah.
Every time you hear a power, once you get it rolling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When do you play the
Rangari
Rangari
Scout.
Ragnar
Yeah.
Scout, yeah.
When do you want that value? And how much value do you want to get out of it? Which thing do you pick off every single discover? Which order do you do the discovers in?
Every turn, you're basically like, do I have Typal Pupil, and how do I get it in my hand before I do anything else? And you're like constantly trying to order your turn. I don't know. If you've watched my stream, you know I'm not a very cerebral player, so I enjoy the deck, but I'm not going to pilot it to like top 100 or anything. So
I mean, in fairness, you're also doing your stream at like 9 p.m. after you finally wrangled the children into bed. So I think you can give yourself a little bit more credit than
that's
that.
true. Or I'm like trying to cook dinner and play it, and I'm like, I don't remember which spells I put in my pupil. Like, so
Yeah, that's been
Good
part
times.
of my problem this week, I think, is that I've been not like, it's early in the day and I can sit down and focus on playing, because that's just not where I've been. So therefore, I am losing ranks until I get to a point where I can... we'll see where that point is. Haven't hit it yet.
But
Well,
I feel
yeah.
Handbuff Hunter's the one you want to play if you're cooking dinner.
sure, yeah. You just
Yeah.
get the hand and buff it
Yes.
up, and then do they have it? Nope. All right.
Yes. You get to the point very quickly. It's like, I have 2 11 attack rune bears on turn 4. Do you have the clear or not?
Yeah, so I mean, speaking of hand buff, I know that's something that you haven't been playing as much lately because you played so much of it before.
It's pretty much the same deck.
Yeah, it is pretty much the same deck. I mean, we've added like Supreme Dynamancy as another thing to go with Bellhop, right, in the sort of meta list. World 8 has put Shaladrisil in, and I think convinced Zacho to publish that tomorrow, even though Zacho was like, I have no data, but I'll do it anyway for you, World 8.
It's a lot of expensive spells, but I mean, your bellhops are active a lot with that many. So
Yeah.
the Dynamancies concern me because you basically need to have RC Rampage down for it to do anything. I mean, it buffs your rune bears a little bit and your bellhops, or it doesn't buff your bellhops, excuse me. So you only have like 2 minions in your deck that it can buff. So, but your bellhops are active more often. So
You got remote control
yeah,
And you
That's
have
true.
Patchwork Pals.
and
Yeah, that's true.
crocodiles when you
Yeah.
Are unfortunate enough
when
to
you
draw Gilly.
patches, I mean Gilly. Yeah.
I haven't had the satisfaction of those extra beefy huffers yet. I should probably test that a little more.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to give it just this is the one that I've played the most of, and I have also linked a handbuff guide from World 8 that he has put in various discords. I linked to the one in our Discord. His argument is like basically plan A, it's turn 4, I have 2 11 attack things. Can you clear them or not? And that's really what you're mulliganing for, right? Unless if you already have a buff thing and a minion, then you don't toss anything because you don't want to draw Gilly or anything else. Like that's kind of what it like mulliganing with this deck is kind of weird because you can so easily draw stuff you don't want.
I feel like I am kind of greedy in the mulligan. I'd only keep like Cup of Muscle, Rune Bear, and Reserve Spot. But I think in Bellhop you could keep if you have a big spell and also a Reserve Spot or a Cup of Muscle.
I mean,
But I try to focus on the Rune Bears.
bird watching is a keep,
Yeah.
right? Because that's
Yeah,
basically
bird
Rune Bear.
watching is a keep. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that is a guaranteed. Yeah, so one thing about this deck, right? We only have 3 minions. So you were guaranteed. You don't have to be like, I'll see what I get with bird watching. You know what you're getting with bird watching. every time.
Exactly.
So, question: how do you feel about like duplicate doubling power Ziliax?
I prefer running that I like running a more aggro version of this deck. I don't think it it's as good statistically, but just my play style, I don't really like the big spell package in this deck. I like the big spell package with Chatty Macaws. I think that's the fun angle with the big spells, but I like running a version without the big spell package and running Ziliax instead of the bellhops personally. But
I mean, I do have a screenshot of myself facing down, like on turn 4, 2 Ziliaxes with 12 attack. They'd gotten Parrot Sanctuary, and they're both about to double the next turn. I did not win that game. I cleared one, and I took 24 from the other, and then I cleared the other, but I was at 6, and they had a Furious Falls. So,
yeah, I mean, it's pretty brutal if played on 4, right? Like if they have reserve spot in Ziliax, like it's you have to. It's game over probably.
Yeah, the only thing that could have saved me, because I was on Protoss Priest, is if I had a Vulcan in hand. That would have been very funny for one of us, not for my opponent.
That has been very good for disarming Tortolas, at least the first one.
Yeah.
The next 2 is a little bit harder, but I guess by that point, then you have Templars that can get rid of them. But having the Vulcan in hand for the first, I know we're not talking about Priest, but I'm talking about Priest because that's what I do. But yeah, but having Vulcan for the first Tortola or the first big whatever has been good to at least like reverse course. But
yeah, and Rogue,
it's also only one.
Rogue has the deadly shot spell, and Mage can freeze you out indefinitely and gain a ton of armor. So
those
like,
are
those
are the bad matchups.
You. Yeah, like. But sometimes they don't have the card, and you just smash them. If you hit them once or twice, then you just have to burst them out, and it's not that hard. So.
Yeah. The worst matchups go Death Knight, 48. Mage, 42. Rogue, 37.
See, I think the deck is better against Rogue than that, but maybe Cycle's gotten a little faster. But
yeah, I think your version might be better against Rogue.
Yeah, maybe it's a version thing.
Yeah, I think the big spells are more all in on just getting one big thing, and then if that doesn't happen, if that gets cleared, they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, good game, and go next.
Yeah, I think the big spell version is better against Control because it gives you a lot more value to extend the game.
But also, like, you know, if you're a lower to the ground, Sid, then you potentially have more things where you can actually do something about them just playing Webweaver early. Because this was a thing that happened to me multiple times. It was just like, oh, they played a Webweaver, and I actually can't kill it. Like, there's nothing. I just have to let that sit there while they draw their deck, which means they're gonna have the dubious purchase.
I was running Quick Shot and Spirit Bond, which deal with Webweaver quite nicely.
Right, yeah. I see you are a Beast fan in the home as well.
I have 3 lynxes or tigers, whatever we want to call them.
Animal companions.
Yes. We need a companion cat, animal companion, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the demons and the hitting the mic. Come on, Mars. Yes, like the beasts in this household.
I mean, something interesting is happening, so obviously the cat needs to be involved.
Yes, Sid's talking to this thing.
Just science.
I should hit it. Yeah.
Welder has appeared in the chat. Handbuff Hunter is Face Hunter, in my opinion.
Yeah. You just do the face damage in large increments, hopefully very early.
Yeah. Well, and you have, like if the first... Actually, this is a question that I have, which is like, if you don't have the perfect, like, Cup of Muscle into reserved spot into Mythical Runebearer opening, how greedy do you get with buffs before you just play something in order to have
There's definitely
something?
a line, right? Like, you kind of have to think about what your opponent's doing. Against a warrior or a death knight, you can't play a super long game with them. You want to try to hit them quickly. So if you give them an extra turn to draw their brawl or their corpse explosion or whatever they're going to use to get rid of your guys, then you're probably sunk. But you do have ways to get a good RC Rampage going, and now with the new version, you can Supreme Dinomancy. So if the warrior or the death knight clears your big minions, and you follow up with an RC Rampage into Dinomancy, then you can often just win the game doing that. So it kind of depends on how much constant pressure you can keep going, or if you're fizzling out. I mean, even like Patchwork Pals is kind of like a full board, and you can invest a lot of mana into it. So
yeah, you definitely have options besides just the first minion. How about if you like draw multiple minions, you just like play Cup of Muscle and see where it lands? That's kind of what I was doing. Of like, well,
Yeah, I mean, you often live and die by how many buffs Gilly takes, right? Like, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to 50-50, Rune Bear or Gilly, let's go. And no, it's always Gilly. Like, all right, moving on.
Yeah, but I think one tip for listeners is like that still might be better than playing Gilly first, right? Like just taking the 50-50.
Yeah. Some
Probably
games are really
depends.
close. You've got to be fast. It is like Face Hunter, like World 8's saying. It's you got to shoot your shot and play. Maybe a lot of times you just play like a 7-8 or a 5-5 Rune Bear on 4, and that's just some good early chip damage to get them lower, to hit them with the Furious Fowls or finish them off with Shaladrisil, because you got those smaller Rune Bears in.
Or with the tokens, or set up the doubling Ziliax reminds me of the I mean, they don't have stealth, so it's better than the one where we had the like virus stealth rogue thing where it was just like, I'm gonna sit here.
It was so many nerfs ago. So
many nerfs ago. I feel like that was a Jawbreak hook originally. I don't know if that's true.
That was what, like last month?
It's like it all happened at the same time, all the nerfs kind of. It's like the nerf that happened 2 years ago and the nerf that happened last month. Sometimes I have trouble keeping track of which one happened when. Well, yeah. Have you played much of the sort of token Beast Hunter deck?
I want to enjoy that deck more. It's very effective. I think it might be our best win rate deck, or at least it was for a little while.
I think it still is.
When this deck came out, yeah.
Yeah. This one has this particular list only has 13 total games, so that's why it's the archetype as a whole is doing well.
I think so. And these look like pretty good choices. There are a lot of variants to the deck that run like Jeweled Macaws. Some run the 4-mana Matriarch. I think I couldn't see if there was Platasaur in that one, but we could run Platasaur. So it's a straightforward deck. You really just want to stick a board so that you can buff it. And I guess I felt after a few games where like I couldn't stick a board, I felt very defeating. But if you can stick with it and be consistent and draw your cards in the right order, it will definitely win you a lot of games.
It strikes me as the deck where like you hit turn 6 and you're just like, didn't get there, and go next, right? It's like they cleared it. They cleared the second one too. All right, because there's not really refill here. Like fetch is one of the highest win rate cards against warrior because it draws you 2 cards.
Yeah, it draws you 2 cards. Yeah. Unless you draw Esho, and then it's only 1. But
sure, yeah. I do wonder if like tracking should be in here. Just to try and look for a little more specific stuff.
I have a hard time not putting that and bird watching in every deck. It's so good. I guess the games are very samey, right? Like you build the board, you buff it. Sometimes you'll get cool stuff off of like the Ball of Spiders minions, or Scarab Keychain will give you something cool. But that's kind of really the only variety in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically playing Quest Murloc Paladin with beasts instead of Murlocs.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same deck, really.
And I feel like this deck kind of got the win rate advantage when there were a lot of Murlocs. So if you're seeing a lot of Murlocs, this deck will kill them pretty well. But yeah, like I think the meta's evolving a little bit, and this is going to struggle more.
Opinion,
it looks
like
Zacho might disagree. Sorry.
It looks like it doesn't do well into Warlock, which is a problem. And its best matchup is into Paladin, which we're seeing less of.
Like the Warlock location and table flip. I don't know if table flip is in the new Warlock deck or not. I really don't see it at Diamond 5 at all.
Table flip is in there, yeah.
Okay.
It's basically a control deck with, the potential to sometimes. By the way, has anyone besides me got hit with the curve? It's not great.
The Dorian curve?
Lethal?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't actually die, but I may as well have.
But it isn't living.
Yeah. It's the, they I forget if they played Xavius on 4 or not, but it's like, yeah, they have the Dorian. Well, they have the ramp, first of all. And then they have the Dorian on 6 to go. Dorian for 5 mana, 0 cost on the cursed, whatever it is.
Cursed Catacombs. Yeah.
Cursed Catacombs. Discover minion from your deck. It's temporary. Dorian gives you the 1/1 copy. They play that 1/1 copy of Agamagan to play the 10 cost copy of Agamagan to play Fyrak.
And I had Fyrak kill me.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And some have even been playing apparently the full combo is if you manage to draw Agamagan with Bob, or you can put Agamagan back in your deck with a corrupted Shaladrisil. This is if you're facing something with a ton of armor.
No. I knew Shaladrisil was in the deck. I did not even realize that was a possibility. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, because you can target your own minion with the Corrupted Dream.
Yeah, I knew that. I just wasn't thinking about it in terms of you could, in the same turn, shuffle the Agamagan back in and bob it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That I have not actually seen that quite, but I said something about the full combo on the Discord today and had a couple people say, you don't even know, who are playing at higher legend than I am right now. It gets worse. So, but Fyrak does feel like it does more face damage now.
It does.
It does. There's more. There are more. They added more spells that go face than there were before. Before the new expansion, it was more likely to just draw you a whole bunch of cards and probably burn half your deck in the process. But now there are, particularly the Shaman spell that does 2 damage to lowest health minion 3 times is one big one.
Lowest health enemy.
At lowest health enemy. Yeah, not just minion. And there were a couple other fire spells that do face damage. So it does do more face damage than it used to since the new set came out.
Hunter can play Agamagan on turn 7.
You can get 2 of them if you Rangari Scout, right?
Yeah, perfect segue. Quest Hunter.
Yeah. I'm playing odd map. So if I shock and I get the Agamagan, I play the map, and I get the most expensive thing off the map, and then I play the Agamagan, and I play a Mountain Bear or a Sasquatch or a Tarot Ravager or something. And I guess I can't get Sasquatch. There's something else. That's been okay. Some people in Hunter Discord are running Malorn, and they're just playing just to have a free Malorn because we're getting Agamagan so easily off of shock. I think the pool of 8 attack beasts is 6 or 7.
Oh wow!
And before there was
large,
8 hands and Octosari, which were pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But being able to get Agamagan or Stargrazer or Krog, those 3 are really good.
Mm-hmm.
And often you are getting duplicates because you play your quest reward with the scout. So like you guys said when you were talking about the buffs last week, I think the Discover really improved it quite a bit. But that we at least have a power spike turn. I think the earliest I've done it is turn 6, getting the shock down, but you maybe could do it on turn 5. So it's not super fast, but
yeah, it's pretty mana intensive, right? Okay, the 1 generally costs 1 mana. I guess you get 3 for 1 mana sometimes with Catch of the Day. But then 5 and 7 both are going to run you at least 4 mana most of the time.
Well, Mukla's 3.
Yeah, but that's 1 card.
So, yeah, I know. But he's still, he's still there.
That's cool that you got the deck of already, Magay, so thank you. This is the exact deck I'm playing.
Yeah. So, what do you find is generally the sticking point?
With completing the quest or what slows it down?
Both, either.
Yeah, I guess you just have to be, I think, so my friend Kat in Discord was talking to me about this, and the Kindred is really important for the Matriarch and the Ravager, which are kind of your 4-cost minions, because the Ravager is often 4 in your hand. So you really just want to be sure you're playing a beast every turn to keep your Kindred activated. And that makes the deck way better at fighting for board, and gives you a little bit of tempo. I do feel like a lot of the other mid-range decks are just better at tempo than this deck. So you really kind of try to stall and not just get completely wrecked while you wait for the quest to get done. And then when you play Shock, you have a huge power swing.
Now, I hesitate to bring this up because I get that it's the point of the deck. Are there any matchups that you throw away the quest?
It's a good question. I haven't put a lot of thought into that yet. I feel like I would probably need the quest reward to win most of the matchups. So I'd have to think about that a little more. But like even Murlocs and stuff, I need to have that swing back to have a chance of winning, I think.
But I guess the question is kind of like what would you want that you're throwing away the quest to get in those matchups? And like is there it would have to be there's a card that you need that wins you the matchup that's not the quest, right? In order to justify throwing the quest away in a deck like this.
Yeah. I guess maybe I'd say it a different way. Like when I was theory crafting, I thought it'd be cool to do a non-quest beast deck that ran the Terrorwing Ravager, the Matriarch, and the Cower in Fear, because those seemed like pretty good tempo tools, and you could pair them with some aggressive minions that weren't beasts or some burst damage type cards and Grifta, I don't know, Parrot Sanctuary shenanigans. But in testing, it just was kind of too slow in plotting, and it kind of felt like Dragon Hunter, which is, a thing of 5 or so years ago. So yeah. So the quest at least gives you that power swing, and it's more of a swing now with the buffs.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the 8 costs, like you were saying, there's only 6, it looks like. So unless you get exactly like Octosari, Krog, and 8 Hands from Beyond, like you're getting Malorn or Agamagan or Stargrazer or
Krog is quite good.
And Krog, yeah.
It's really only 8 Hands and Octosari that you want to... Like, sometimes I've taken Octosari because I really needed cards, but...
I am underestimating Krog a little bit there. So that means if there's only 2 really bad hits, then you're guaranteed at least something that's decent. So. Yeah.
And so the 2 best things I've found with it are Agamagan into other big beast, and then you can, Sasquatch at the next turn, or getting multiple Stargrazers, playing them all and triggering them. You can do multiples of 8 with like an odd map. You can trigger all their spell bursts and swing in for a huge lethal that way. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, this is what I'm having fun with for now. I might go back to just playing Story of Carnassa and see if I can make that work, but we'll see. Sorry, this has some variety. It's fun for now.
I mean, it's got a positive win rate against Warlock, which is pretty much all you can ask for.
All right, sign me up.
I mean, there's a lot of games in here. I thought I came up with this version, but maybe this deck has already been played a lot.
Maybe you're more influential than you realize,
I mean, I posted it on Twitter today, like I came up with it. So apologies if someone else came up with
it. They list the person who climbed the highest, and this person got to 98-22 legend with it. Wow. So
yeah, but there's like thousands of games played, or like at least a couple thousand.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, most of those are probably yours. You just need to get yourself to legend so that you can leapfrog this person on the leaderboard and get your rightful place on Donkey's site.
Now, you also maintain like a list of all the people with the most hunter wins, right?
Yes. There's a hunter leaderboard. You can join if you have 2,000 or more hunter wins. You could get on the leaderboard. I think we have about 180 people now who have 2,000 or more.
Oh, yeah. Hilariously, I'm on it, and I keep telling Sid that he should cut off from below me, because if you can't have more wins than me, you don't deserve to be on the list. But he hasn't come around to that yet.
And then you got Wicked in Arena stacking his wins to box more people out of the list.
I don't think those count. Those don't count for your.
They do
for your list, though. Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because you got that one. Because you have that one arena win with Priest before you figured out that you hated it.
Yep,
right?
I did a 1 in 3 Priest run early on, and then they added those wins later. For a while, it didn't show up, and then they added in the arena wins later, and I just suddenly had a Priest win like 2 years later.
My only classes with sub 50% win rate are Priest and Druid.
I mean, mine too, but I just played a lot of bad Priest decks because I'm very easily baited.
I think like you have like close to as many hunter wins as I have priest wins, but that's just because you have like 5 times more wins than me in general.
Yeah, I just played a lot of the game is all. So.
My hunter is very close. 1,977 wins.
Oh, yes, so close. All right, we'll be expecting you soon. You just let me know when you get there.
Yeah, mage is my highest.
People get into it though. They like sending me their totals. We reported before each set comes out. Get the updates. Blizzard has the data though. They know they could give us the top 200 class wins. We know they have in their database. Ixar gave it to the rogues a few years back. So
of course, they always love the rogues best. So that's not a surprise.
It's such a weird niche thing to put on the website though. It probably doesn't help enough people to bother with it. But
it's always strange for me to look at my data like this because obviously I have the most games in ranked, but arena my win rate is like 60%, and I gotta believe that's mostly from the older arena days because I have been getting wrecked in new arena mostly.
yeah, same. My duels win rate is 58%, so that and $2 will get you on the subway, I suppose. But
I have 3,500 priest wins. It looks like only 541 hunter wins, but at least it's golden. And I'm positive. The only class I have a negative win rate with is mage, which I'm curious how that happened. Like, which mage deck did I just play the heck out of and not be doing well with? I don't know. I actually have... Okay, my best win rate is with Shaman for some reason. My second best is with Death Knight. But that's because I only have 166 games, and I only play it if it's broken.
So Demon Hunter for me, I've got 924 wins, and I only play Demon Hunter when, I'm in a very specific place. But win rate is 54% on that one, and that's basically my highest. But anyway, we're not here to talk about stats.
My Death Knight is at 53.6. That's my highest now, which is sad. But I have so many priest games that it's hard for me to bring that win rate up because I played a lot of bad priest decks back in the day.
Yeah, I'm surprised that my priest win rate is positive, to be honest.
Same with my hunter one.
I think that's the thing, right? Is like the class that you love the most is the one that you're going to play even when it's bad.
Yeah.
And so, my mage is like 51%, right? Because I play mage all the time.
You play in order to make it work. And yeah.
I got baited by a lot of Zedalot decks.
So I feel like one last question before we go to kind of loop back a little bit is you mentioned before the show that you think overly synergistic design hurts off meta play. And I wanted you to tell us a little bit more about that because I think I agree.
I think I would probably lean on smart folks like y'all to explain it to me. But I don't know. I think it's harder. Like the latest set, it's a lot of cards that are specifically designed to be played with the quest. There's Niri, and I'm not even sure if I'm forgetting anything. Like it just you do something with Niri, or you do something with the quest, or and then there's the story, which is kind of like a slightly different mechanic. And then there's a couple neutrals like Elise and Torga you can mess around with, but from a hunter perspective, the neutrals are pretty, and Esho, of course. So I don't know. Like in the older sets, the cards wouldn't do so much together. So some of them would be obviously quite good, and then others you'd kind of have to work to make it do something. And was that good enough? But I don't know. Like you can make different beast decks with the cards that we got. It's just hard to mix that with a lot of the cards that Hunter has right now in standard. So the decks we have seem pretty fine. We've got a few options, so I'm not complaining or anything. But just from like an off meta perspective, it's hard to come up with stuff this meta for me that feels really different than the decks people are already playing.
So just to give an example of like, all right, original Journey to Ungoro. The cards that we got were Stampede, 0 mana
Boo.
spell each time. Actually, it might have cost mana before. Anyway,
I
0
tried
mana
that
spell.
one, I remember. Yeah.
Each time you play a beast this turn, add a random beast to your hand.
I want to say that cost 2 when it was printed, but I might be misremembering.
I feel like it used to cost more, yeah.
I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeweled Macaw, 1 mana, 1/2 beast, battle cry, add a random beast to your hand. This is in core now. Raptor Hatchling, 1 mana, 2/1 beast, death rattle, shuffle a. It says 4/5 raptor. I think it used to be smaller.
It's a 4/3 initially.
Yeah, into your deck. The Marsh Queen, famously difficult quest to use because you give up your turn 1 in a quest that requires you to play 7/1 cost minions. Get Queen Carnassa, that's what the story is about, shuffling those raptors into your deck. Crackling Razor Maw, 2 mana, 3/2 beast, battle cry, adapt a friendly beast. That was amazing. That card was carried so hard.
Yeah, that card's the nuts, yeah.
Dinomancy. I remember some people trying to do this one.
Oh god.
We tried so hard
Dinomancy.
to make Stampede and Dinomancy work, man. Oof.
Oh man.
2 cost, replace your hero power with give a beast +3/+3. I think that might also have used to be 2+2/+2. Grievous Bite, 2 cost spell, deal 3 damage, used to be 2 damage to a minion and 1 damage to adjacent ones. When I say used to be, I mean like they updated these for Twist. Terrascale Stalker. This used to be a 3 mana 3/3 battle cry, trigger friendly minions death rattle. Updated to 2 mana 2/3. Tolvir Warden used to be a 5 mana 3/5 battle cry, draw 2 1-cost minions from your deck.
Come to me, little ones. Yes.
Yeah. I remember using that one a lot because I played the quest. And Swamp King Dread, which at the time was a 7 mana 9/9 after your opponent plays a minion, attack it. So like there's a couple of 1-cost minions to go with the quest, but it kind of ends there, right? It's sort of a
and Tolvir Warden, right? Tolvir Warden's also there to draw the 1 cost out, but that's like 4 cards out of 9.
And also, like, you can just play Tolvir Warden in something that wants to draw 1-cost minions.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what I played after. I mean, I obviously messed around with the quest, but we had, at this point, we had some of the. So I started content creation, I think, in 2016, or maybe it was 2018. So I might not have started content creation yet because I started more in the Kathrena area.
What a good era.
Yeah.
For Hunter, anyway.
So I think I kind of just memed around with like the quest at this time, but maybe there was like a Death Rattle Beastie deck, or like I forget if I don't think Dire Mole was out yet, or if we had Alley Cat maybe, because that was Mean Streets, I think.
I mean, I remember using Firefly a lot for the quest.
Yeah, Firefly. I was just trying to think of what other decks I'd be playing that weren't the quest deck, but the quest deck was a bit rough to get working.
Like I'm just trying to relate to like what I was playing back then, so I'm just looking at the priest cards from that set, right? And like you had Awaken the Makers, that was the first quest they showed, which was summon 6 Death Rattle minions and you get a Morrow who sets you to 40. But like there's only Crystalline Oracle, which is just bad. It's like 1 mana 1/2 Death Rattle, copy a card from your opponent's deck, add it to your hand. There was Tortolan Shell Rager, which I think was 4 mana, now it's 3 taunt, Death Rattle, give a friendly minion +1/+1, and like there's like Mirage Caller is battle cry, choose a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it, which I guess could get you an extra Death Rattle, but it doesn't have to, right? I think that's the kind of synergy that they were building back then, where it's like, yes, you could use it for this, but it doesn't say Death Rattle. Like today, it would probably say like choose a Death Rattle minion, summon a copy of it, or something like that, right? Where it would be much more clear, but also like. There was Lyra the Sun Shard in that expansion.
Yes.
There was Shadow Visions, right? Radiant Elemental. And like we even played Curious Glimmerroot, which is it's a 3/4 now, was a 3/3 at the time. Battle cry, look at 3 cards, guess which one starting your opponent's deck to get a copy of it. I remember getting the Rogue quest and completing it with Priest using that card. And
Wow.
Oh no, it wasn't that card because it wasn't in their hand. There was another one that like it lets you choose one that started in their deck, and I think I had those to get like Shadow Steps to be able to play the same thing over and over again. And I didn't win that game, but I finished the quest, and that was enough of a win for me.
Yeah.
But like, but that's the difference, right? Is that it's not like when we're looking at the quests now, it's like most of the cards that they're printing in the set are going to that. And if that doesn't work, then that's it, as opposed to being like, okay, well, this is a few cards that you can, we'll give you a starter set and then you can figure out the rest of it on your own. It feels more like they're building like Magic Commander precons with some of the packages that they're doing, where it's really like laid out and all the synergies are kind of set for you. And yeah, you can add some of your own stuff if you want to, but here's the deck. You can build it and the problem with that is that if that doesn't work out, there's not really anywhere to go with it, because there's not a lot of people trying different approaches. It's like, these are the cards that are good. And sometimes, yeah, like more often you leave one out, right? Like there's one bad one that you don't play.
Dinosaur.
But more often than not, like you're using all the cards that are in that set, because otherwise you can't get there.
I mean, I think it's a balance of trying to make sure that you have support for things while also ideally you have cards that are flexible. They can be support for something or they can do something else, right? Which of course is like, it's hard. That's harder to design for, but I think that's kind of the ideal, right? So, if you have something like a quest, like Awaken the Makers with Amara back in the original Ungoro, summon 6 Death Rattle minions, like there's lots of Death Rattle minions, but you would need to make sure that there's enough Death Rattle minions that the quest can get complete. But maybe, that's actually a good example of how to do it, because then you still have lots of options on Death Rattle minions. It's not super specific, but yeah, you can have things where like they print something that needs synergy and they don't print enough of it, like Fel and Warlock. There's always like 3 cards that care about Fel and Warlock. And they're just useless because they don't have, like, if you're going to have a card that requires some synergy, it needs enough support. But on the other hand, if like the whole set is that, then that can be a problem. So I do think it's a balancing act, but I also think, when we are able to have cards that come up in interesting ways later, that might be a little scarier to design because it's going to be unexpected, but it's also fun because it's unexpected.
Well, but also like looking at these quests, a lot of them leverage neutrals heavily. Like you look at the Caverns Below, which was nerfed a whole bunch of times, really, really good. There's not support for the Caverns Below in Rogue baseline, except for kind of Mimic Pod, right? Where you draw a card, then add a copy of it to your hand.
And Shadow Step.
Well, exactly. Well, but that's not in the Ungoro set, right?
Yeah.
That's just in Rogue, right? Like,
yeah,
the quest has no support. It's just expected that you will, use Shadow Step, that you will, find things in neutral to make this happen, right? That as it was in the case here, that you have Firefly that gives you the 1/2 elemental, and there was also Igneous Elemental, which Death Rattle gave you 2 of that same thing. So the frequent way you completed the quest was to play those 1/2 flame elementals over and over. You would step Firefly to get more of those flame elementals. You look at the Shaman quest. Unite the Murlocs quest. Summon 8 Murlocs. There were 0 Murlocs printed in Shaman. There was Primal Fin Totem, which is a 2-mana 0/3 totem at the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Murloc. That's it. It was really elementals mostly in Shaman, and then you also had Tidal Surge and Volcano. Yeah, it seemed like there was more of a like, we're gonna design some cool cards, some of which are powerful and will hit, some of them are not, and like let you put it together, as opposed to, well, if we're gonna make the quest, it needs at least 3 support cards, maybe more, in the class.
And like half the cards in Ungoro, the original Ungoro for Hunter, were kind of unplayable, hearing you say them back. And like Hunter's gotten Wild Seeds and the Discover package, which are cool, cohesive packages. So
yeah, like
it's got to be, I don't know, the execution, I guess maybe I just don't like the cards as much as those other packages, so I'm inclined to think this way. I don't know.
I mean, I think like, yes, a bunch of the quests weren't successful in the last Ungoro, but because you weren't committing half of the a class's cards to them, it was less of a loss.
Or you have something like like Questline Priest, right? Where it's just like play a 2, 3, and 4, then play a 5, 6, or 1, 2, and 3, and then play a 4, 5, and 6, then play a 7 and 8, right? Like you don't have to print anything. They had to buff Whirlpool to give you something to play, right? But I mean that needed it anyway. But like you don't need to print anything. It's kind of like the warrior quest in this set, right? Where you don't need to print anything for it. You just give them some control tools. They'll be fine. They just need to live 10 turns. Okay, that's something we can do. But it's like there aren't enough quests like that, right? Where it's just like here's something like you have to build your deck a certain way, but it's not asking you to put in specific cards to do it. And if those specific cards aren't good enough, then nothing works. Like when you're building around a synergy like this, it also makes it harder to buff like one thing, right? Because if you're buffing the quest, but all the things that you have to do to finish the quest are bad, then you have to buff all of them, which is also dangerous in its own way, right?
I mean, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, if you have something like the Discover package, if you print more Discover to go with it, then you have more options. I think this Discover was good also because like discovering is just generally good. You're going to play that in lots of stuff. There's like decks called Discover Hunter, but you don't have to play the Discover cards in Discover Hunter necessarily. Like Niall's just a good card. She's not in every single Hunter deck, but she's just like a good card. And it wasn't the entire set in that like Alien Encounters was kind of our only big payoff, but it was so good that it didn't matter. Yeah, you can say like, well, if we print some extra Discovers, then that gives you options and that you don't need to play. If there was only a few Discovers, you'd have to play all of them, right? Whereas because there's lots of Discovers and there's lots of Discovers in the neutral set and we added some more, then you have many choices as to which Discovers that you're playing. Maybe that's a strength of the Discover package, and that like Discover again is something that's common, so you can have a lot of it.
Yeah. And we've been good at it historically. I mean, we've had tracking as our shadow step, right? We've had that card forever. No one complains about it really, but
is it?
Well, they used to until they changed it so that it didn't discard the other two, and then people got more comfortable with it. But
here's the question: is it a better or worse card since they made that change? How do you feel?
Oh, we don't have enough time for that.
I'm gonna go better. But I've gotten used to it discarding stuff. So I know.
That was a hard thing for people to get used to. But Discover and Hunter is flavorful too, right? Kind of the ranger type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going into new territory, discovering things like it makes sense. So yeah, I definitely I don't want to necessarily say that like packages in general are not a good thing. I think it's there's like anything, it's what's the package and what's the balancing act, and just making sure we're not like only doing that.
It's more like the rogue quest, right? Where there just aren't a lot of things that shuffle things into your deck, and not things that you typically want, right? So that's kind of a bigger problem when you have to at least consider Merchant of Legend, even though you really ought not to play it because you just need.
We never play in Merchant of Legend.
Right. But you need a critical mass of things in order to get a quest done quickly enough to justify all the cards you're putting in your deck to finish the quest, right? So it kind of creates this weird push and pull, and when most of the cards that are going to satisfy the quest are suboptimal, then it makes it worse when you can't rush the quest. And if you don't put enough of them in, then you don't finish the quest on time, and now you're just playing bad cards. But if you are spending the first several turns playing bad cards, and then you're drawing more bad cards, so you have enough bad cards in order to finish the quest so that your bad cards eventually turn somewhat good, then it makes it hard when you just don't have a lot of those things to choose from.
think I've only seen the Master Dusk hero like once since the expansion came out. So
yeah,
when people were still experimenting post balance changes, it seemed like maybe it would be real, and then stuff shifted.
maybe the ninjas need taunt or something.
So
or rush or something.
I think it is. It does. It's this kind of issue of like I both think it is problematic that too much of the expansion be devoted to the quest, as we just described, but also these quests, since they are so specific, most of them, obviously not the warrior one, sort of demand that like you have more of the stuff that makes them happen, or else you just can't complete them very fast. So like like Wicked was saying, you have 2 things from Rogue from this expansion that shuffle, and there's some stuff in neutral. But I think like there's not as many shuffle effects in neutral as there were Murlocs in original Ungoro, right? Like it's just not that prevalent of a thing. Like there's several, but like you don't want to play all of them. And I think it works best when you are completing that quest very, very quickly. Like you need it to happen quickly to start actually doing your thing. So you can, get those 3/3s recursively, right, to shuffle in and you pull them back into play. Yeah, so like that one, the shaman one is an example of where they printed like a ton of. So the shaman this time is like all package.
Even though the quest is actually pretty flexible in a sense of like there's lots of minions with minion types. Yeah.
And if you're doing packages, I like that they are flexible in this way, right? That like you've got just these multi-type minions that work for the quest, but also you've got this elemental thing going with fire spells and with the sizzling cinders. Like it's very cool, but it also means that like there's not room for anything else. And what was the one thing that happened? Flight of the Firehawk, draw 2 minions of different types, give them +2/+2, was used to tutor Murmur. And that was the thing people were doing with Shaman for a bit that was actually powerful, because the other stuff was too slow.
I mean, I feel it's almost more egregious with Imbue, right? Because like you have to put all the Imbue minions in your deck in order to get your Imbue deck to do anything. Because like once you start down that path, you pretty much need to max it in order to get it to a point where it's, because like the first Imbue is whatever for the most. I mean, I guess Priest is okay, but even because it can get, the only reason that that's okay is because it can get more of the minions that will imbue your hero power further. But like,
I mean, the only reason why that's fine for Priest is that you don't care past the 2nd or 3rd imbue.
Right.
Because it's actually an aggro deck.
Yeah, but I mean, and aside from Druid, like you're forced to put like a 2-mana 2/3, effectively vanilla 2-mana 2/3 into your deck, and like that's hard to compete with in 2025, right? If you're forced to put that in there, and it's also like it restricts your creativity because you're putting, what the first 10 to 15 cards of your deck are, right? You have to put those cards in your deck. So what am I filling the rest out with? It's not like you can do like a light imbue package, again, aside from Priest.
It's like a hero power Galacrond or Excavate or something, right?
But Galacrond was at least broken on release, so like we got to play it.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like if the package deck hits just right, then that's great, so it's all just like, it's all dependent, right? It's all a web of stuff. But
anyway, I didn't mean to derail and go completely back around. We're just very passionate about all the stuff and really care about the game, and so it's tough it being in a rough place right now. But I don't know. Any final Hunter thoughts, Sidisi?
Maybe there'll be a cool deck we haven't discovered yet, so stay tuned. But
I'm gonna try that Quest Hunter for sure.
It does look like a lot of fun.
I'm not like climbing with Handbuff anyway, so I might.
I'm not sure this will help your climb direction, but It's definitely an experience.
I've pretty much given up on 11x for this month already. So I literally don't have time to play enough games, even if I had the right win rate for it. I don't think so.
Sometimes it's liberating to not feel like you're going to go for it and just relax.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am totally in the chill for 10x boat.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to do it for us today. We have many folks we'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at Concede.com, where you can also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/Concede. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.concede.com, and subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@CoinConcede. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.coinconcede.com, and write into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at CoinConcede, and if you would like some CC swag, head on over to our shop at shop.coinconcede.com. Quick shout out to Scoob D and DS1385 for subs during the show. Concedes. Megasa, you've written something.
So I'm coming up on the end of the grad school program that I keep mentioning is keeping me busy. I went on extra classes over the summer since I'm working a little bit less, although I shouldn't have signed up for summer school at all, and for teaching summer school at all, and I did, and that by the time I realized it was a mistake, it was too late, but that's okay. I have enjoyed the class that I'm teaching for it, but I'm coming up on the practicum, and I want to shout out the educational therapist who will be mentoring me, because it's a program in educational therapy, which is kind of like tutoring, but really focusing on remediation of skills and helping students with academic challenges beyond just here's what the content is, although and here help you do your homework, although there's a little bit of that too, because sometimes the kids come in and they're just like, help with my homework, please. But yeah, so I met with the educational therapist who will be mentoring me, who was also the instructor that I had, who was by far the hardest, by far, 5 times more reading than anybody else, but I learned a ton from it. She will be very thorough and she will be very helpful, and I really appreciate how organized she was and how much I learned from it, even if no one tell her I did not do all the reading. I did a lot of it. I did not do all of it. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm just happy to hear that ET stands for educational therapist, because I thought you were going to be learning how to phone home from your mentor when I saw what was in the show notes.
Yeah, not the most common.
Got any coin seeds?
I'm going to shout out to Twitch chat for all the nice words and hanging out tonight, and also Hunter Discord. Good Hunter talk every day.
Cool. We're good.
I mean, I obviously will concede to Sid for joining us, and this was a lot of fun, and it's overdue for us to get you back on the show, because I don't think we've had you. I think the last time we had you on the show was before Megasa joined us, when we were doing all those guest shots, all those guest spots. So it's been 2 years.
If we're honest, we haven't really done a lot of guests since before Megasa joined the show.
Yeah. Unless one of us is incapacitated for some reason.
Yeah.
So, but we're glad that you were able to work it out with the bedtime schedule and everything else to join us. So we appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Always a pleasure. Even if Hunter's good or not, have me back anytime.
And I will just quick concede to my brother and a friend of mine, Braden, who's in my I still call it D&D group. We don't play D&D anymore, but tabletop RPG group. Since my brother was actually in town, we just kind of wrangled together a quick while Leah is napping play session, a couple of us to try out the quick start for Daggerheart. It was really cool getting to experience. I think it's a really fun system. So.
All right, well, that'll do it for us for this week. So until next time, keep calm and don't dust your priest legendaries. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
All life must end. I yield for now. I concede. Well fought. I concede.
this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend. You win this time. I choose death.